2 videos in a row with a bright lip. This is me signalling that I've been kidnapped and you need to come find me. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope you are doing really well. Very excited for today's video because I know that everybody always does these, you know, best of the year kind of videos, and sometimes they can get a little bit overwhelming, but they are also some of my favorite to watch because I think as beauty enthusiasts, we want to know the products that people tried and then have stuck with it. You haven't just tried them once and thought, oh yeah, it's a really nice product, and then completely forgotten about it, because that can happen. And you know, I'm definitely guilty of rifling through my makeup drawers and then going, oh my gosh, I loved that when I used it, and I literally haven't used it for months. So today is going to be a best of 2020, what I've been loving this year, but it's also going to be a little bit of a what I have been loving my whole life. Because, as you know, I started my channel in 2020, it's only a few months old, and there are definitely a few products that I have been using this entire year that I have also been using, some of them since I was a teenager. So, you know, we're talking a good kind of 15 years or so. So I wanted to include them, and I will draw special attention to them when we come across, but I have a lot of products today, so let's get into the video. Sorry, I know I do this every single video. One day I will actually get into the video when I say I'm getting into the video, but just before I forget, the colour on my lips right now is the Revolution Pro in Expression. Not sponsored, not sent to me, bought with my own money, and it's just my perfect Christmas red. I also really love their, again, Revolution Pro in Fever, and this is their red 106, and then Expression is red 108, and you can normally buy these in like a set. I think I got these in a set of 3 or 5, and I gave the other reds away because they weren't my shade, but I've held on to these two, and I do wear them whenever I do a red lip. It's one of these two. I was thinking about how best to structure this, and I'm basically just going to go head to toe because then I hopefully won't forget anything. And also, the area that I have kind of the most things to talk about is my hair. So I am very lucky with my hair. It's very thick, it grows long quite naturally and all of those kinds of things. But I am very conscious of taking care of it and looking after it because I do really like my hair, and I want to continue to really like my hair. So start with a hair tool, and I've spoken about this before, but it is my Revlon hot hair brush thing. I mean, I don't really know what it's called. I will have everything linked below, so just go off them rather than my explanation. But this has been an absolute game changer. Now, I actually got my hair cut yesterday and they curled it for me, so I've just kind of re-curled it today. But normally I just use this every single time I dry and style my hair. This is basically what I'm using, and I have noticed the biggest reduction in damage to my hair since I've been using this over using a hairdryer and a brush, and then normally I'd have to run over a couple of bits with straighteners and all that kind of stuff. Literally just this. It takes me about 20 to 25 minutes, depending on how distracted I'm being. And I wish I had bought one of these sooner. If you have thick hair, if you have long hair, and it takes you an absolute age to dry it, style it, get out the door, and feel happy with how it looks, get yourself one of these. They're not that expensive either. And yeah, just the dream. So next up are the 2 products I use when I'm using my hot airbrush, and the first one is Perfect Hair Day 5-in-1 Styling Treatment by Living Proof. Living Proof is a brand that I really want to try more from, but they are not cheap. So it's sort of put me off buying their like shampoo and conditioner because I'm like, well, I get through shampoo and conditioner reasonably quickly, so therefore it's gonna, you know, it's gonna cost me a lot of money. But a styling product you don't use nearly as much of, and I have been so impressed with this. I've been on the hunt for a really good heat protectant for my hair for a really long time, and I just hadn't really found one that I liked. A lot of them kind of made it a bit greasy or heavy, or I just didn't really feel did anything. This smells amazing, combats the frizz in my hair so well, and yeah, I really enjoy it. I also really like the packaging. It feels really nice, it looks quite classy, and yes, I will 100% be repurchasing this when it runs out. But I mean, I've had this for about 4 or 5 months now and it's still going strong. So yeah, love this. Then the other product I use is this Maui Moisture Nourish and Moisture Coconut Milk Weightless Oil Mist for dry hair. This one, don't spray it directly onto your hair. I made that mistake and yeah, just put on way too much. Still spray it into your hand, rub it in, and then, you know, kind of comb it through with your fingers. But this is just a gorgeous, gorgeous hair oil and it smells incredible. I am not the biggest fan of coconut as a scent. I seem to either love it or hate it. In a body moisturizer, not a fan, but in this, absolutely stunning. Gets rid of the frizz, makes it really shiny, makes it really, really soft. I love this. Potentially should have started with these because, you know, you kind of wash your hair before you style it, but anywho. And it is the Body Shop hair range. Basically, I've had the strawberry shampoo and conditioner and now I am using the banana one. I will say, as far as scents go, I infinitely prefer the strawberry one. I'm actually not a massive fan of this banana scent just because it's so strong. It's really like synthetic banana and it does last in your hair, so you do kind of smell like banana. So, you know, if you're not gonna like that, you may not like this, but the way this makes my hair feel, I'm willing to forgive it for the smell. But I will say I have really, really enjoyed the strawberry ones as well, and I'm probably going to try out another scent in the range. I think I might try like the ginger one next. I don't know, that seems quite nice to me. But yeah, I've really enjoyed these, and they're a little bit on the pricier side for shampoo and conditioner, but they're not ridiculous. They're a sort of mid-range price, and like I said, for how good they are, I think they're worth the money. So moving on to skincare, and this has probably been the area of my beauty routine that I have enjoyed exploring and expanding the most in 2020, because prior to that, I mean, I've mentioned it before, like my skin has been pretty good. I've never had any major issues with it, but I've also always looked after it pretty well. So, you know, those two are hopefully connected, but I do just want to say that. I've had, I mean, haven't we all had a little bit more time to think about my skincare routine and devote a little bit of time to it, and particularly once we started spending so much more time at home, my bedtime routine became really, really important for just getting to sleep and chilling out. So yeah, skincare has been something that I've really, really enjoyed just getting into a little bit more, but that hasn't been very expensive. So I haven't tried many higher end skincare products this year. It's been all about the really affordable options for me. And a big one of those is the Aldi Lacura range. And I have raved about every beauty product basically from Aldi before. But one of the things that I have absolutely been loving, and I have repurchased multiple times, is their hot cloth cleanser. Now this is actually a sort of mini size that I got in like a little pack of 5 because I was like, they're great for travel with. Lol. This is actually the eucalyptus oil and extracts of chamomile, rosemary and white tea. And I mean, just any of their hot cloth cleansers I think are brilliant. The one I use and like the most so far is their pink clay one, just because it's got quite a nice scent to it, and that's the one that comes in like the big bottle, which will last you a long time. But this just gets off your makeup so well, and my skin has been really well balanced since I've been using it. I really enjoy the experience of using it. It's really nice texture and it is cheap as chips. So yeah, get yourself down to Aldi and try this out, because it also takes off waterproof mascara, which is impressive. My next two products from Lacura are both moisturizers, and the first one is their Caviar Illumination Anti-Age Night Cream. Now the label is kind of all rubbing off because I've used this so much, and actually I'm almost run out of this, and I will be repurchasing it because this night cream is just gorgeous. It's not too thick, but it is a thick night cream. Does that make sense? You know what I mean. Some night creams can be so heavy that you go to bed feeling like a bit of an oil slick, and I hate that. By the time I get into bed and my face is touching the pillow, I don't want there to be any residue of anything left on my face. And I just find you only need to use a small amount of this and it just works beautifully. There is one thing I will say, it is heavily fragranced. And I mean, I love the smell of this and I am definitely somebody who doesn't mind fragrance in my skincare. My skin can handle it, and for me the user experience of putting it on is really important. So I really like this. I really like the smell of it, but bear that in mind. If you are sensitive to fragrance, this probably isn't going to be for you. So the next one is Lacura Moisture Boost Hydrating Gel Moisturizer, and this is the one that I have been using in the morning, and it's this gorgeous, it's a really pretty, really pretty pink colour in a gorgeous little glass jar, and this is stunning. When I first used this, I wasn't I liked it, but I wasn't like blown away. But then I sort of spotted it on my shelf and was like, oh, maybe I should give that a go again, because like I really like gel moisturizers, so you know, and absolutely loved it. So I'm not quite sure what happened the first time. I think maybe the other products I was using didn't quite work or whatever. But this is a dupe for the Clinique gel moisturizer, and in my opinion, and I've tried the Clinique one, I think this one is actually better, and it's a fraction of the price, and Clinique is not a cruelty-free brand. So yeah, absolutely love this one. Now this next one is sort of a brand that I have both discovered and sort of moved on from in 2020, but I'm going to mention it anyway because it's an ingredient that I've really discovered, I suppose. But it is the Ordinary Hyaluronic Acid 2% and B5 serum. I think this was the first thing I tried. No, it wasn't. It was their retinol was the first thing I tried from them, and in their like grenadine solution. Oh gosh. Again, I'll have that one linked below as well, but I really like that product and I am going to be repurchasing it. I tried out their hyaluronic acid serum and their niacinamide serum and their vitamin C's, and their vitamin C in the silicone I do actually really enjoy, but I don't think I'm going to be continuing to repurchase from The Ordinary necessarily. I'm going to branch out and try some other brands basically, but using those same ingredients. The user experience is not there for me with The Ordinary, and particularly with their niacinamide serum. Like, I can only use that on the days when I am also using my vitamin C in the silicone, because it is the only other product I own that mixes well with it and doesn't pill up and have issues. So that for me is just like, you know, if I can't actually use this every day, then I'm not going to repurchase it. If you have any suggestions of really good, still a bit affordable, but with a bit of a nicer experience than The Ordinary, then please let me know. I think I'm going to try out the Inky List next. But I did still want to mention this because I have been using this hyaluronic acid serum all year and a little bit of 2019 I think as well, and I do really like it. I think it has made a real difference to the overall level of my skin. Before, I used to go through times when my skin was really dry and quite painful, and I haven't experienced that since I've had hyaluronic acid in my everyday routine. So I wanted to mention it because I have been using it and I do think it's made a difference, but I probably won't be repurchasing. I hope that makes sense. Another skincare brand that I wanted to give a massive shout out because I just think they're incredible is the Superdrug Vitamin E range. And now I have completely used up my pot of their day moisturizer, and when I have run out of my other moisturizers that I'm using, I will probably repurchase that because it's a gorgeous cream, got a little bit of SPF in there. Lovely. But here I've got their Nourishing Night Cream and their Moisture Leave-On Mask. If you find that you're a bit too sensitive to fragrance to use the Lacura moisturizer, this would be my next recommendation because it is pretty much the same consistency. I do find this one takes a little bit longer to sink into your skin, which is why I've kind of lent towards using the Lacura one, but it's a really good moisturizer. It's just got a very light smell to it, which I don't think is fragrance. Don't quote me on that though, because it might be, but it's very simple, good night moisturizer. I don't know what else more to say. And then this has been a slightly newer discovery for me, the Leave-On Moisture Mask, and this I actually don't leave on. I tend to take it off just because, like I said, I don't like going to bed with like a residue on my skin, but I do leave this on basically while I'm watching a film or watching some TV, and it's the weirdest texture ever. I don't know if you can, you probably can't, it's really hard to get that across on camera, but it's basically like a wibbly jelly and it's very odd, but it's great, and it leaves your skin so soft and really soothed. So if you're finding that you are getting those kind of drier, itchy, painful patches on your skin, give this a go. The one time that I did experience that earlier this year, this sorted it right out. Okay, last couple of things in the skincare department, and I wanted to give this e.l.f. Matte Oil Control Lotion a mention, because I have been, I mean, you can see I'm getting through this now. I use this every time that I use my more oil-based serums, because this just takes away that like oily feeling afterwards, because I find my skin reacts really well to oils, but I don't actually like the texture of oils, if that makes sense. So I just find this takes away that oily kind of feeling perfectly. So if you do have oily skin, I imagine that this would work really well and just kind of not completely matte you out so that you look a bit dead, but just kind of bring it in a little bit. And it also just has a really nice fresh scent to it because it's got tea tree in it. And yeah, I really enjoyed this. And now we come to my absolute holy grail. This is the product I've been using since I was a teenager. I will continue to repurchase this until they stop making it. Please never stop making it. I will be so sad. And it is the Boots own brand Tea Tree and Witch Hazel Blemish Stick. And it looks like this. It's a Pritt stick. Wait, do not put Pritt stick on your face. This is not a Pritt stick. But this is just a kind of solid paste, I guess, that you just get a little bit on your finger, rub it onto any blemish that you have, any little breakout you have, and it will get rid of it significantly faster. This is actually a product that I already have a backup. I literally buy them like 2 at a time because I'm so scared that one day they're going to stop making it. But like I said, they have literally been making this for like over 15 years. So I feel like they're probably not gonna get rid of it anytime soon, but this is just my absolute swear by for getting rid of blemishes and just keeping your skin, because it's got the tea tree and the witch hazel in it. It will dry out a little bit, so you don't want to be putting this all over your face. It's very much just on the area that you need, but it's so good and it really works without being too harsh. So yeah, this is my #1 skincare product, which may seem a little bit strange, but hey ho. Okay, and then to finish off, I'm going to talk about the makeup side of things, which I always think is, I don't know, it's more fun, isn't it? And start off with, this has not only been a favourite through 2020, again, I have used this for 2 and a bit years. And it is the Urban Decay Naked Skin One and Done Hybrid Complexion Perfector. And it's basically a tinted moisturiser, but this is the highest coverage tinted moisturiser that I've personally tried. I haven't used loads and loads. It's something that I definitely want to try out a few different ones. But this, I just use just in the spots that I feel like I need it, sometimes a bit on my chin, sometimes on the sides of my nose, just here, because it blurs out your pores on its own without a primer, which I just think is kind of witchcraft. So a little bit suspicious of you, but you know, we'll forgive you. But the reason that I have enjoyed using this so much is because it blends into your skin beautifully. So therefore you don't need to use it all over your face. Does that make sense? Because I'm somebody that I definitely like to just kind of spot conceal and just put a little bit of product just where I feel I need it and then leave the rest of my skin to breathe and get on with its life. This has just been absolutely ideal. And I mean, I've had this tube definitely longer than I should have done, but it's still going, like it's still lasting me. So I'm just like, it's fine, it's on my face, so it doesn't really matter, but it will last you a really long time if you're just using a little bit of it here and there. But equally, you can use this all over your face, build up the coverage, and it looks really beautiful. So yes, again, this is a 2020 favourite, but also I have been using it longer than that. Okay, next up, and I was going to put this in the skincare kind of section, but it's got a little bit of a tint to it, so I was like, I'll put it in the makeup one. And it's the Glossier CherryBalm.com Universal Skin Salve. Now, I've never been one much for lip balms, just because I kind of felt like my lips got drier when I used them, not like better. But this one, it smells wonderful, it looks great, it feels wonderful. You only need to use the tiniest amount of it. So yeah, it feels pricey for a lip balm when you first buy it, but I've had this for months and I barely made a dent in it, and I use it all the time. So yeah, had to give a shout out to this because I love it, and I really want to try out the other flavors now. But I kind of feel like I should wear this one down a little bit first, but I really want to try the others. We know me, I'm gonna buy the others. And then for brows, I have two brow products that I want to talk about. The first is by Revolution Pro, and it's their brow pomade, and this is in the shade Blonde, but I've also got their shade Dark, just for, again, like I said, this blonde has been an addition for 2020. I really enjoy this. You only need to use the tiniest amount, so it can dry out a little bit, but I just kind of scrape off the top layer and that's fine. And then for a brow gel, it's got to be the Glossier Boy Brow. I have used the Lacura sort of dupe for this, and that is really decent, but I find myself leaning towards this one because I find the shade is slightly better for my eyebrows personally, and that's just the shade brown. If I am doing a no makeup day and I'm maybe just putting on a bit of mascara and that's basically it, I'll just run this through my brows and you just immediately look that little bit more polished, that little bit more put together, and to be honest, you haven't really tried. So yeah, this has been an absolute staple for pretty much this entire year. I nearly forgot about this, and I nearly forgot about it because I basically only put it on when I leave the house, and I'm never leaving the house. So, and that is the Pink Honey Glue Strawberry Sherbet Texture Hold, and this is an eyebrow wax. Now, I learned about this through watching Robert Welsh's channel, so you've probably already seen it, but this stuff is incredible. Your brows will not move, they are locked into place, and yeah, this is amazing. Okay, and then coming into the final category, which you'll probably be very pleased about because I'm pretty sure this video is probably the longest one I've ever done, but you know, hey ho, I like lots of things. And I wanted to do eyes last because, as you know, they are my favourite part of my makeup to do. They are, for me, kind of the most important area. Like I said, I am not normally a bright lip girl, okay? For some reason, I've just been feeling it this last couple of weeks, but normally I go far more on the eyes, and it's also the part of my makeup that is the most creative for me, and it's the most relaxing, and it genuinely feeds my soul a little bit. So don't ever feel bad if you're the same, because I used to feel bad about it, and now I made a YouTube channel so that I can talk about it. But first up is eye primer, and the H&M Eye Fidelity Primer. It's just my favourite. I do enjoy the Urban Decay ones, they're primer potions, but I find for me they're a little bit on the dry side. So this one has just been, it's been perfect, and I can't really say anything bad about it, which is why it's in my favourites. Makes sense. Okay, next up is eyeshadow, and this I found quite hard not to just show you my entire eyeshadow collection because I genuinely use and enjoy all of the palettes that I own, but I nailed it down to the 4 that I want to talk about the most because it's kind of the 3 brands that I've been enjoying the most. And my first one is my e.l.f. Mad for Matte palette, and this has been a rediscovery of this year. I bought it a little while ago, and it's just, what more do you want from a neutrals palette? Sorry, it's a bit dirty because I use it a lot, but this has just been such a good palette for me this year, particularly seeing as I haven't been doing a lot of makeup, you know, going out and about. If I am going out and about, it's generally just to the supermarket, so something like this has just been perfect, and I've been using some of the shades as brow products if I'm just wanting to do a little bit of powder in my brow for whatever reason, and this has just been fab. So yeah, I'm pretty sure they still sell this one, so I would absolutely pick this up because although it is just a plain matte neutrals palette, that's actually surprisingly hard to find and for good quality and not too expensive. So yes, this one I will forever be recommending. And then I had to bring these two in because they have been one of the biggest surprises of 2020 have been the Lacura eyeshadow palettes, and I have Revival and I have Moondust. Now, I did actually try and buy the third one, but they didn't have it in stock in my supermarket, and I would have had to order it online, and to be honest, I just kind of got lazy. But these have just been stunning. The quality of these shadows is so impressive for the price. The packaging is beautiful, the colour stories is gorgeous, and the brushes that come inside them are really decent as well. So if you're looking for a slightly more interesting palette than maybe just a plain neutrals one like the e.l.f. one, but you're not wanting to spend a lot of money and maybe you don't have lots of brushes, so you're like, oh, I need to get a brush for it and all this. Get yourself down to Aldi, go on the Aldi's website and have a look at their eyeshadow palettes, because they are really, really good. And I'm not just saying that because they're really cheap. I would pay more than they cost. But don't put your prices up, Aldi, because you're great. And then on the sort of other end of the spectrum, and definitely not an affordable brand, but I have to put this in, and it is my Charlotte Tilbury Instant Look in a Palette Gorgeous Glowing Beauty. And this one is just, I mean, it's a face palette, but I basically use all of this on my eyes, because you've got 3 eyeshadows, 2 cheek like blush kind of colours, a highlight, and then a bronzer. And I use the bronzer and the blush on my face, but the highlight and the blush topper I use as eyeshadows, and just, it brings me so much joy. It brings me so much joy. And it's also got the best mirror I've ever seen in a palette. And then lastly, because it's normally the last step of my routine, mascara. My favourite mascara this year has to be the Charlotte Tilbury Push Up Lashes Pillow Talk mascara. This one and the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascaras are still my favourites at the end of this year. I've loved the Too Faced one for years, and this one has been a newer discovery. And yeah, I really, really love it. I think it's really, really fab. You have to take your time with it. It's not the easiest to apply, but it is worth persevering. And just, like I said, just take your time. Just be calm about things. And this one will go great. Okay, well, I'm kind of shattered from talking, because I've been talking for a very, very long time. If you have enjoyed it, please do give it a like. Consider subscribing to my channel. It would be so, so lovely to have you. And yeah, I release videos every Friday at 11 AM, and I will see you guys in the next one. Have a lovely, lovely build up to Christmas. My thoughts are with you all, and I really, really hope that you can still enjoy the time, even though it's going to feel a little bit different this year. So yeah, Merry Christmas, have the best time, and I will see you guys next Friday. Bye bye. The skincare. Oh. Can you tell I've been filming for too long and talking far too long? No, I tried their retinoid first. Retinol? No, we can't have retinoids. I have no idea. Then the next moisturiser is the Lacura Moisture Boost. Moisture Boost. Okay, so moving on to skincare. This is probably the area I said I had the most ahead, and I have quite a lot in all of these. We'll just crack on. Significantly faster. Oh, I love it so much. I just throw it on the floor because it blows out your pores.